Hey guys, what's going on? Got another build for y'all. So I've had a whole bunch of requests for this build. Put one out last season and it kind of fizzled due to the changes that we had for Evan Piercer and what we did with Bone Spirit, and those kind of took precedence over some of these off-meta builds. But I really felt this was a good time to revisit it, just simply because of the amount of requests I've gotten. So we wanted to talk about the Corpse Explosion build. It's the most iconic build. When you think Diablo Necromancer, everybody thinks Corpse Explosion. So I really wanted to go through and take a look at what we could really do with this build, with the changes that were done to some of the gear. When I put it out last season, I really pushed for an effort to get Blighted online so that we can get the additional multiplier from it. But I really wanted just to see where we could go with this build this season. Now, one of the things that makes builds function is their tags and what they scale off of. So unfortunately, as I was putting this build together, it became incredibly apparent that the build itself is just really not going to be that much damage. While the skills are awesome, the explosions are massive, and they look really cool, the big limiting factor for this build is its tags. It's labeled as a corpse and corruption. And we don't have anything that scales corruption. We don't have any multipliers. We don't have any Paragon that scales with corruption. It's just Corpse Explosion for our Corpse and Corruption. So there's really nothing that scales off of that. So unfortunately, we're really limited on where the damage can scale to. You know, currently you're seeing in the video right now, you're seeing some 30 mils. You'll see some overpowers of 80 plus million, but that's really about where it's at. I think that with better gear and a little bit more work on the master workings, that we can see in the like around 50, and that's really where it's going to cap out. But the problem with that is this build is really pushing every limit to the damage you can, and you really no room for defensive options. So the build is just unfortunately not that great. But if you like big explosions, you like having fun with a build, this one's probably for you. It's super fun. It's 100% uptime on the Army of the Dead to keep your corpse generation incredibly high. The Reapers keep your corpse gen high, and you're constantly able to spam Corpse Explosion. So enjoy the rest of this little Pit 91. It's nothing flashy, but man, the explosions are cool, and this was a really fun build to put together. If you like it, I hope you like it. And I hope you can enjoy the gameplay if you were looking for a Corpse Explosion build. And we'll get into the specifics on how the build works and what it looks like here in just a second. All right, so let's go through the skills real quick. This is pretty basic. We are literally using Corpse Explosion, but we take 2 into Reap, whatever into Reap, just going to get to the next skill tree. dumped everything into hued flesh. We want to be able to pop as many corpses as possible. We take Blight for the extra 20% multiplier. Blood Mist all the way down to your corpse leaving a corpse when you're in. For Corpse Explosion, we are dumping absolutely everything we can into it. Get it as high as we can, as you see right now. We're at 15 extra item contribution, but we are using 5 from the skill tree. And we do go down to Plague Corpse. Why this is important is we get additional multipliers for mobs that are CC'd. So, slowed, stun, or vulnerable, which our Corpse Tendrils is going to do those, as well as our Decrepify, so we can have up to a 30% multiplier here. So that's pretty huge. We've got 3 into the Warriors just to keep those Reapers alive. I've got 2 into Spiked Armor just for a little bit extra armor for them, and some Thorns, because why not? 1 into Grim Harvest just to get down to Fueled by Death. We have 3 into Move Speed, 3 into Death's Embrace for more damage close, and less damage taken while close. Got 3 into amp damage for using the curse. We are taking Abhorrent Decrepify just for the additional cooldowns that we can get. For our Corpse Tendrils, we are taking the Plague for the vulnerable. 3 into Necrotic Carapace to make sure we're getting fortified, and the amount of corpses that we form with this build is mind-blowing. So we have a constant flow of corpses. We don't really care if we're rezzing. We could drop another one here, but it doesn't really matter. What we are looking for is a little extra damage, but primarily we are getting the Army of the Dead to keep our corpses going. 3 into Inspiring Leader, just for the extra crit chance. 1 into the heal, because again, why not? 3 into Death's Embrace, just to help keep those alive a little longer. And then we've got 3 into Standalone. This does give us some reduction in, because we are using 4 minions, but we do still get a 10% damage reduction for having this. So the way that this Standalone reads is increased damage reduction by 18% when you have no minions, but each active minion reduces this bonus by 2%. We have 4 minions, so that's 8%, so that brings us down to 10% damage reduction, which is still great. Shadow Blight, because why not? It's just free damage. We had extra points. It can crit. And we do have our minions doing shadow damage. Alright, for our Paragon, we have Gravekeeper in the first board. Second board, we have Bone Graft. Taking Tenacity for the max life. And then we've got Essence in the Bone Graft board. Next board is going to be our Bloodbath. We're not taking it, of course, but we are going to come over here and grab this max life. Exploit in the Bloodbath board. Next up, we've got our Cult Leader board. We are taking this for the DR primarily, but it's also a good little int board. And in this board, we have Dead Razor. Gives us a nice little full 15% multi due to our minions attacking, so that's really cool. Scent of Death is going to give us an interaction of either extra damage if there's no corpses nearby, and an increase in damage reduction if we get corpses that are near to us. If we're spamming a lot, we still have corpses going, so this is primarily a nice little DR on the way to our Paragon Glyph here, and we're taking the max life here. And for the Glyph, we've got Control, picking up the additional armor and crowd control here just because we needed the int, and it's a quick way to get it. Next board, we have Flesh Eater. This is always active because we're always consuming 5 corpses at once. And in this board, we have Amplify. Taking the Erudite and the Targeted for the Intelligence node there to make the bonus. And then we take this for It's on the Way, and it gives us a little crit strike damage. Blood Begets Blood is our last board here. And in it, we have Corporeal. Picking up this for the int. Picking up this for the max life on the way to the node. For the gear itself, you're wearing Shaco. Gives us extra ranks, max life, and it's keeping us alive with the DR and armor. It also has a really great cooldown reduction, which is helping us keep up the ultimate as paired up with the Fast Blood in the grass Embalmer, which we'll go through in just a second. Hardened Bones on our chest plate. We want Corpse Explosion here. This is a horribly rolled chest plate. I have max life and Thorns. What I actually need here is int max life and Corpse Explosion. On our gloves, we're using Howl from Below. You want your multiplier to be as high as possible. And ideally, if you could select 2 GAs for this piece, you would want your Corpse Attack Speed, which is going to allow you to cast Corpse Explosion more quickly, and Corpse Explosion there as well. What you're looking for on your crits here for your Masterworking is going to be your Corpse Explosion. For your pants, we're using Cursed Aura. This just gives us that additional Amplify without having to have it on our toolbar. It's really great because it allows us to use all the other stuff. And on it, you're going to want Int Max Life. I ran out of pretty much gold when I was rolling this. But your flex slot here could be armor. But we have plenty of armor with this build, so it is what it is. For your boots, you want Int Max Life and Move Speed. You could slot in tendrils here for a cooldown, but why? You've got plenty of cooldown. So this is what you want. You want Int Max Life and Move Speed. But your Black River is going to be your weapon. Primarily, you would like your GA on Fueled by Death and your Corpse skills, and you want, at minimum, a very high roll on your multiplier. The higher, the better. For your offhand, you want Int Crit Strike and Cooldown Reduction. Crit Strike chance is, of course, important to keeping up our Crit Strike to do more damage. And then the cooldown, again, here is going to be to help you make sure that you've got the ultimate up at all times. Your crits here, you definitely want to get those on Crit Strike chance. For your rings, we want Int Attack Speed and Crit Strike chance. I have not been able to roll Int on this yet. For both rings, you're going to want that. Int Attack Speed and Crit Strike chance. For your tempers on it, you want the ultimate cooldown and then just damage. For your rings, you want Grasping and Fast Blood, and I did not go over that. I'm sorry. But for the boots and the pants, we've got Cursed Aura and the Aphotic. Aphotic is going to make all of your minions do that shadow damage, which allows for Shadow Blight just for free damage. Blighted on the offhand. This also will proc when we get the Shadow Blight going with your minions. Grasping Veins for Crit Strike chance and crit damage. Fast Blood, because this is going to reduce our cooldown by however many seconds, depending on the roll of it, for your ultimate every time we pick up Blood Orbs. And we are getting a bunch of Blood Orbs because of Embalmer. We have a 45% chance to spawn Blood Orbs from consuming corpses. And you guessed it, that's all we're doing with this build is consuming corpses. Alright, so that's pretty much it. This is the most iconic Necro build, Corpse Explosion. While it's not incredibly powerful, it still gets the job done for running content. You can run some pits, you can run some, not high hordes, but you can have some fun in hordes. You can clear any of the content you want to. It's not going to be the greatest build in the world, but a lot of people have asked for a Corpse Explosion build, so here it is. I had a lot of fun doing this. Again, it's not the strongest build, but it was super fun to make. It's super fun to see the massive explosions. So if you want to give it a shot, please do. I had a lot of fun, and thanks for watching, and we'll catch y'all next time.